Hey guys, how y'all doing? Aaron here with you. Just thought I'd make this video to talk about something that, well, now that I'm doing drum stuff on YouTube and whatnot, and basically I've been commenting with people about, different people giving me comments and whatnot, and I appreciate all of it. I've gotten some really good comments from people about my playing and whatnot, and it's really it's been very positive for the most part. So first, thanks for all that positive comments. It means a lot. In my first uploaded drum solo, I have a conversation going with a long-time friend, and in it I talk about, if anybody's familiar with this video, I don't think anybody's gonna really care, really, to be honest with you. Nobody really watches my videos or whatever, but I thought I'd make this anyways. Might get looked at 20 times. I don't know. I guess nobody likes to watch my stuff. Oh well, whatever, I guess it's just the way YouTube is for me. They say never give up or whatever, but it's hard, but, But anyways, in earlier comments, like I said, in my first my first drum solo I talked about an accident that I was in. So I'm making this video to talk about that accident. It happened on March 30th, 2003. I used to work as a security guard at the local hospital here in my town, which is now a clinic. I did that from 2002 to 2004 before I went to college. Sunday, March 30th, 2003, I just finished working 3 night shifts in a row. I did a 14-hour, a 12-hour, and then a 12-hour. So Sunday I was a little tired, so I had woken up and did whatever around the house, showered, whatever, ate, and decided to go over to my parents' house for a while. And I stopped to get gas, and I went into the convenience store, and the guy who was at the cash was a friend of mine. So I ended up talking with him for, must have been 45 minutes or so, and I made attempts to leave, but I'd keep talking, and I'd keep looking out, and finally I said, hey man, it's nice talking or whatever, but I gotta go, I gotta bring my mother her car. So he said, yeah, okay, cool. So I remember thinking before I left, my car was parked on the way far end of the gas pumps. It was the last ones, the last row or whatever. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4. Mine was on my mother's car that I was in was on the 4th row. And I remember when you walk out of this convenience store, if you keep walking straight, there would be one car here and one car here, so you would walk between them or whatever. But that night there was just the one guy at the pump that was here, and I came out of the store here and walked straight. So to this day, I made a conscious effort in my mind to look to see if anybody was driving or was going to take off, because I didn't want to walk in anybody's way or whatever. So I said, okay, I'll see you later, man. So I walked out, and I seen a guy in like a Blazer, I guess a Jeep Blazer. Yeah, I guess that's about the best way you can call it. Anyways, so I seen him parked there, and I assumed, he wasn't going to take off because I assumed he was getting gas. So as I'm walking straight out, there's nobody in front of him, so there's just me. And there's about 5 or 6 feet of space between the start of his Jeep and me. And as soon as I get right in front of him, he decides that he's going to take off. But as soon as he took off, he was talking to somebody. He had his head out the window talking to somebody in the back of him, as he's driving away. So when he drove away, as he was driving away, after he, yeah, how you doing, or whatever, boom, he hit right into me. And the impact jolted me at first, like, it hit me from on the side, and it kind of made me stagger. Like, I'm surprised that I didn't go flying, because even in the 6 or so space of him taking off as fast as he did, he shouldn't even have taken off, really, now that I think about it. He took off really, really fast for somebody who's leaving a gas station, and the fact that he wasn't looking straight ahead when he was driving. He was talking to somebody outside of his window. So I get in the, like I said, I'm walking out, I get in the middle of his Jeep, and he decides to take off. So I'm right in front of him, and then boom, the impact hits me. I stagger back a little bit, and he keeps driving, and then my instinct, I didn't fall to the ground at first, which was, I don't know how the hell I didn't fall from the impact. So my instinct was to turn and face his Jeep, and he's still talking to this person outside the window of his Jeep. And then he drives, and he eventually hits, like, me and him are like this, and my hands are there trying to stop him from driving. Like, he kept wanting to drive, and the like I said, with the impact, and then when I turned, he came at me again, and then he smashed right into me. So my initial reaction was, this guy's gonna run me right over. I gotta like, stop this guy from running me over. He's gonna kill me. Like, it happened so fast. And so when he hit my two hands, my instinct was to push this Jeep off of me. But I mean, it's not a half-ton truck, but it's a Jeep, and it's, you know, it's heavy or whatever. So my instinct was to push this truck off me. So he's still driving away as he's running me over. And so eventually, after my wrists and my elbows, my arms gave out from me, like, trying to hold him off, like, and I'm screaming to him, stop, like, you're running me over. He's like, stop, fucking stop. Like, and he still didn't stop. So eventually my arms gave out, and then he still kept driving, and he smashed right into my legs. And then after he hit my kneecaps, he literally, he drove up onto my knees. Like, as I was falling, he kept driving, and he drove up over to on my knees, and he did so much damage to my legs that I had to go fucking physio. Like, I tore a bunch of stuff in my knee, my calves, my left leg took a lot of the impact because he hit me on the left side first, but both my legs took the impact whenever he, like I said, he like drove over my knees, and then at that point I couldn't take it anymore, so I dropped to the ground, and he was still talking to the person outside of the window, and the guy noticed that he hit me, and he's like, fuck, stop, you just fucking hit somebody. And it's like he didn't clue into the fact that he hit me once, and then he hit me again, and I had to, like, instinct was to keep him off of me, trying to push back a Jeep. But I'm not Hercules, I'm not Hulk, nobody in the world could have done that. So my hands were almost destroyed, my arms were done, and then, like I said, whenever that let go, my knees, he came up on my knees, and then I fell to the ground, and then when I was on the ground, he was still going, and then I'm screaming for him to stop, and the guy that he's talking to is saying, fuck, stop, you just fucking ran somebody over. And then he stopped, and when he stopped, the way I had fallen on the ground, my head was probably about this far from his front left tire. like whenever he stopped and I was looking at his tire, so it's like if he wouldn't have stopped, he would have drove a few inches more, and he, you know, he could have potentially crushed my skull. Like, so I'm laying on the ground. I'm number one in shock from what the hell just happened to me. Like, you know, I walked out of a convenience store and I just got hit by this moving truck. It wasn't that far of a distance, but he took off so fast that it didn't make any sense for him to be going that fast from leaving from getting gas, and that later on was determined that he was using excessive speed. And so I'm on the ground and I'm in a lot of pain because I know my legs are shot. My arms are practically useless. The pain was incredible. I managed to crawl myself over to like the kind of like a center part where I don't know where there's stuff anyways, and the guy, this guy was known in my town as a real idiot. Everybody knew who he was, and he wasn't, you know, deemed a real idiot. He looks at me, he says to me, "Are you okay?" and then drives away after he hits me with his truck, with his Jeep. And I'm laying there on the ground, and my first reaction was, "Watch what you're fucking doing. You almost fucking killed me and running me over." And then he drives away. So I remember I staggered back into the store, and I said to my friend, I said, "Did you see what just happened to me?" He's like, "No, why?" I said, "I just got hit by that Jeep that just took off." He said, "As if?" I said, "Yeah, man, I gotta go." I said, "I'm in so much pain right now, I can barely walk. I can barely move my arms." He's like, "Oh, fuck, go to the hospital, man, or whatever." So I staggered over to my car, and my mother lived like 2 minutes away. And I drove there, and I told her what had happened. And I told her, I said, "I'm gonna have to go to the hospital." I said, "I either got something broken or torn or ripped. I can't walk, hardly. My arms, I can barely move them." And so we went to the hospital, and she had to take me down in a wheelchair. And they ran some tests, and I didn't break anything, but they could tell by the swelling and the marks and all the bruising and whatnot instantly that I had torn a lot of like ligaments, muscles, tendons, like the bones were irritated and whatnot. And so basically, since that night, March 30th, 2003, that night changed my life to what it is at this present day. Because my life up to that point was, you know, I could do a lot of stuff. I mean, I can still do a lot of stuff now, but I'm still suffering the side effects of that accident today. An example is I used to be an amateur bodybuilder. I started bodybuilding in 1998, and I eventually had to stop in 2004 because of that accident. I was unable to lift as much as I could. I couldn't push as much as I could before. I mean, you might not think it by looking at me now, but back in 2003, 2002, I was approached to be in bodybuilding competitions because I was my physique was I was very built. I hate to even say that, but yeah, I used to work out a lot in the gym, and I was a really hardcore bodybuilder. So that was a big part of my life. And that, after the accident ceased, it slowly came to I had to realize that nothing like that was ever going to be the same again. I couldn't curl, I couldn't go like that with my wrists. I couldn't, you know, do straight curls. I couldn't press out, you know, my elbows, my wrists, my legs. I had to go to physiotherapy for months. I had to walk around with crutches for a while, and eventually I used a cane. But even though I was using a cane, I was using it as a crutch in a way. I was substituting it for my left leg. I never put pressure on my left leg because my left leg had taken most of the damage. And to this day, when my left leg, my knee in particular, acts up, I say to my wife, I say my truck knee hurts. And she knows exactly what I'm talking about. I call it my truck knee because when I got hit the first time, my left side, meaning my left leg, took the initial impact at first. And then everything else was kind of secondary to that. You know, with my arms going out to take the impact of trying to push this Jeep away from me as he's pushing against me. So like I said, I was trying to stop him from keeping on driving, but he didn't seem to realize that he hit me in the first time, so he was still driving while I'm trying to push him off me. And like I said, it took the guy he was talking to tell him, you know, turn the fuck around, you know, you hit that guy. And like I said, he just asked me if I was okay, and he drove away. And I couldn't charge him criminally because they said he didn't do anything wrong. There was nothing they could, you know, they couldn't charge him with like dangerous driving or whatever like that because it happened in a parking lot of a convenience store. You know, there was no, even though I think some of it was caught on camera. I've never seen camera footage, and I don't think where I was it would have caught it hitting me. It might have seen his Jeep moving, but it wouldn't have seen the impact of him hitting me the way it was pointing at the time. So anyways, to sum that up, I guess for months and months and months I had to do a lot of physiotherapy just to get my legs straight again. It took me months. I had to rehabilitate my wrists, my hands, my fingers, my elbows, my entire forearms. Like I said, it ended my bodybuilding career. I say career. I could have had a career, I think. You know, I was asked, you know, to enter, you know, competitions in my area, and who knows where it could have led, you know, because it's crazy. If I was to show you pictures of me that I had, you know, from back then, I was I was in really great shape, and I was proud of that, and I worked really hard to get into that shape. You know, I had a lot of obstacles to overcome too, especially with being sick with my illnesses I had in 1999, almost dying in the hospital. You know, that's another stupid thing that happened, but anyways, that's another video. So, to this day, I've suffered permanent damage in my wrists, in my elbows. The muscles in my arms get fatigued very, very easily, and my wrists. I don't have much wrist support. Like if I'm typing a lot, or if I'm playing guitar or bass or whatever. Like I guess an example is I could never play bass guitar with my bass high because I couldn't keep my arm like this. I always had to keep my bass low so my hand would be straight, because if I would play like that, the pain would be severe and very, very intense. The bones and the tendons and the muscles were just damaged from the impact of trying to hold off this Jeep, you know. And, you know, when he kept pressing against me, I was pushing against him out of instinct, not thinking about it really, but that did a lot of damage. I could feel it at the time doing the damage, and it's affected, you know, my guitar playing, even writing. I've been writing since actually 2 days before that accident. I started writing in a journal, and I've done that every day since. up until this current day, I write in a journal every day. So I have over 17 years worth of journals. But I sometimes when I'm writing, my hands cramp up. My left tricep, part of it snapped. That was really hard to heal. I remember drinking protein shakes and protein shakes and protein shakes to try to get the muscle to repair itself from the protein. For the longest time after that, I could be in a certain position and I would hear like snap. Part of my tricep would snap all the time. Like if I was to take my hands and put them, see I can do it now, but if I was to, at one point this was hell to put my arms like that. Like for training, I used to do overhead dumbbell presses, and when I would come down, just even with the lightest weight at the end, all here would let go. It would snap, and it would just, I would drop the weight. I remember one time I wasn't expecting it, and I dropped, I think it was a 10-pound weight on the base of the back of the top of my skull base. I dropped it because my tricep snapped from the accident, but because I was trying to figure out what I could do and what I couldn't do in the gym. So yeah, so like now that I'm doing drumming videos, and you know I'm doing a lot of freestyle and whatnot, and you know I never really wanted to admit what had happened to me. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I just, you know, people say, oh, you suck, you know, you can't play, or you're playing that wrong, or whatever, you know, or, you know, because if I was playing a fast song, I couldn't palm mute fast, or I couldn't, like, alternate picking very, very fast, because I done severe damage to my wrists. Both of my wrists suffered permanent damage that the doctor said that it will never be, I'll never be able to reverse it from the impact, from you know, holding off this Jeep or whatever, and you know, getting hit a second time or whatever. So, and now that I'm drumming, I wear gloves when I play. In my comeback video that I made in July, I said I wear gloves when I play. Basically, because for support, I said, but secretly, not secretly, it's not a secret anymore. I mean, some people probably read the comments, but I wear them because it does give me support for my wrist, because my wrists get fatigued very, very, very easy, and so does my arms. So that accident changed a lot of stuff in my life. You know, I can drum fast now. Still, I think I can, but I'm not as good as I once was, like before the accident or whatever. You know, I was a lot faster at doing this, and you know, just fast beats, and with my legs, if I was playing double bass, I was good with my left and my right leg. But ever since that accident, since I had to basically learn how to walk again and rehabilitate my arms to the point, because they had suffered so much like nerve damage and whatnot. You know, sometimes I can still be sitting there and I can be idle, not doing anything for a while, and then move my arm, and it's just like, ow, like the pain sometimes hurts. So like, I think I've uploaded 3 solo videos of me playing drums, and you know, I'm just going crazy for 8 or 9 minutes or whatever, just playing a bunch of random, you know, just random soloing and whatnot. But after the camera is off, I'm in a lot of pain because of that accident. So yeah, I never really wanted to admit that, to say, you know, I was in this accident, this is what happened to me, Um, I've suffered permanent damage to my hands, you know, up to my elbows. And like I said, my left tricep, like your tricep is 3 muscles. I snapped one entire part of that, and that still hasn't fully healed because it still snaps every now and then depending on what I do. Sometimes it's even hard to pick up one of my kids. Like, you know, my daughter, she's going to be 2 next month, and my son will be 6 in November. And when I pick them up, I can feel the tension in my arms and in my wrists. Like, doing that, at one point I couldn't do. Just, and alternating my wrists, like I can do that now, but it hurts. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Doing that, it hurts. Like, I can feel it. I can almost hear, like, the bones and the ligaments or whatever, tendons, the nerves or whatever. I can feel the tenseness or whatever. Like, for a while, my hand was almost completely limp. Like, the nerve damage was so bad. Like, and I remember the doctor said you probably pinched a nerve somewhere and it'll go away in a day or two. But for actually 2-3 weeks, my hand was completely like limp, I guess. I couldn't, to lift it up like that, to go like that, took everything I had, everything, and then it would just drop. And then eventually I got my strength back in it by slowly starting with physio and working with the stretch bands from physiotherapy and whatnot at home, because like I said, I was a bodybuilder and I was familiar with, you know, okay, well, I need to do this to make this stronger. I know, like, yes, I had to go to physio, but I was also my own physiotherapist because I was, you know, a bodybuilder, and I knew what I had to work on to heal myself. But my life really hasn't been, since that day, March 30th, 2003, my life has changed a lot. So that's why I'm making this video now. You know, like, I just assume have people tell me that I suck or whatever than to admit what this guy did to me. I don't know, it bothers me to this day. I have flashbacks, and it just really bothers me a lot when I play guitar. Whether I'm using a pick or if I'm playing with my fingers, my fingers tense up. Like, I can't play fast music no matter how hard I try. I mean, you can see that in some of my videos that, I don't know if it's obvious, I try not to make it obvious, but I can't play fast at all. And now that since July, I've trying to make a name for myself in the drum world, and you know, maybe that'll take time too. Nobody cared, you know, for me as a guitar player or a bass player. Like, it's, you know, I could count my loyal subscribers, you know, on my hands. I have like 10 people that talk to me and care about what I do and whatnot, and give me good feedback, or, you know, just leave me a comment or see what I was doing. Like, I took a 7-month break from YouTube because I was getting tired of all the hate that I would receive on a daily basis, and you know, I wasn't getting anywhere with views or subscribers and whatnot. So I came back, you know, as a drummer. I got a drum set, and like I said before, I've been playing drums off and on for 25 years. But, you know, before March 30th, 2003, my hands were a lot faster. I could play a lot faster. I was playing the most extreme music you could think of, the death metal to the core. Like, you know, I was really, really, really fast, because that's just, you know, I consider, you know, my favorite metal is heavy metal, thrash metal, speed metal, you know, even death metal or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, this is just my video to talk about what happened to me, and I might get 5 people who watch this. Nobody really cares, like I said, about what I do or whatever. So if you're watching this and you've come this far, well, thanks for caring about my story and about how I was nearly killed by this truck. Like I said, a couple of more inches, he would have ran over my head. I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. But like I said, my life, since that day, it changed a lot of my life. I would never want to go through all that physiotherapy again. To top it all off, too, this guy who hit me didn't believe I was really hurt. And I lived in an apartment building at the time, and there was another apartment building across from me. And he had a friend who lived in that apartment building, and they set up a video camera to film me coming and going from my apartment to see if I was using crutches or if I was using a cane to walk, or if I was walking normally, or if I was faking it. And they did that, and I know who his friend was. I don't know him personally, but I know who he was. And you know, I told my lawyer that, and you know, I wanted to just, you know, I was really mad. You know, I said, I can't believe this. This guy won't own up to the fact that he thinks he did nothing wrong to begin with. You know, drives away and you're still talking to somebody. You don't pay attention. You hit somebody once, and then boom, you hit them again. Like, and you're talking to somebody outside of your window. So yeah, I was really mad whenever that happened. So when I would leave my apartment, or if I'd come back, I'd look up and I'd wave, because I knew I'd be on film. And they did that for months, and there was nothing really I could do about it. But I had nothing to hide. I mean, if I could have said that, yeah, you know, when he said, "Are you okay?" If I could have said, "Yeah, I'm fine," I would have gladly have taken that option, because it altered my life in so many ways. It changed my lifestyle. It changed the way I play music. It, you know, made me more depressed. You know, it was just a bad time for months and months and months. And you know, playing music was never the same after that. So this is my video to tell you guys about what happened to me on March 30th, 2003. There's probably a lot of details I could still talk about or mention or whatever, but there's not much else to say except the fact that I've suffered permanent damage that I'll never be able to reverse, and I sadly have to deal with it, and it affects my playing. So, I mean, if I can't play, you know, I don't know, something really fast on drums, there's a good, you know, reason behind it. It's not because I can't or I don't want to or whatever. It's probably because the pain of playing something at such a high tempo afterwards is, you know, insane. That, you know, take pain medication, you know, muscle relaxers, just medication. So plus I have all these sicknesses and everything on top of all that stuff. So anyways, I might as well end this now because it's pretty long, I bet. But yeah, I figured I was talking about the accident. I might as well make an official video talking about it for people who want to know more about it. That's what happened to me. I was hit by a Jeep. You know, it's not once, twice, really, and you know, it's it could have been a lot worse. You know, it was just really a really bad time in my life, and even though it's been over, you know, 14 years, I still have to live with the damage every day, and it sucks because, you know, music is my life besides my family. You know, my wife and my kids. I'm a musician, so playing music hurts a lot. You know, I could play music for a while and then I have to stop because my wrists are too sore. I can't. The pain is so intense in my wrist. I gotta stop. It's like carpal tunnel syndrome times 5. Like, you know, I don't have very good wrist support at all. In my arms, my elbows, like I said, my tricep. I had to learn pretty much how to walk again. So I wouldn't go back and do. Well, obviously I had to do it. I had to move on with my life, but ultimately, anyways, I ended up suing the guy legally for what he did to me, and they actually put me at fault, and they made it like 50-50. They said that I should have been watching where I was walking. You know, you're leaving a convenience store in a parking lot, and you should have been watching where you were going, and that just made me floored because I knew what I was doing. I was standing at the door talking to my friend and looking out the window to the parking lot to make sure that nobody was coming and going before I was going to walk to my car. So I tried to argue that point, and I could have argued, you know, it took over a year to reach a settlement, and I could have argued a lot of points further and further, but at that point, you know, it was over a year later. I just wanted it out of my head. I didn't want nothing to do with it again. So I settled, and I got a settlement for it, but it wasn't very much what I got, and basically I gave most of it away. I either bought, you know, gifts for, you know, my wife, my family, you know, I gave a lot of it away. I helped my girlfriend, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I helped put her through university. To be honest with you, my classical guitar and all the Jimi Hendrix DVDs I have are like the only things that I can remember spending my money that I got from this, you know, car, this Jeep accident or whatever. So every time I look at that guitar and I play it, I think about it, and it's just like, wow, like, you know, it sucks. Just the whole thing sucks. But every day I try, you know, rehabilitate myself by playing and trying to get better, but I know that the damage is done. I feel it. I see it. It affects my playing. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what happened to me on March 30th, 2003. And my life has never been the same since, in a lot of ways. A lot of other ways that I never mentioned, but that it really has nothing to do with pertaining to what I do on YouTube. But, you know, psychologically, you know, mentally it fucked me right up, and physically it fucked me right up, and it was just really bad. But what can you do, I guess? You know, you can't do too much once something happens to you. You just gotta keep on going, I guess. But that was really hard to get over, that one. You know, it happened so fast, but the effects, unfortunately, last a lifetime. I guess that's the way I can sum it up. So, you know, I'll still keep on kicking, I guess, and play, but, you know, I got a hard time to play Master of Puppets by Metallica on guitar because, you know, the fast palm muting or whatever, and the riffs or whatever, they take a toll on my wrist, and same thing with playing like a lot of fast songs on drums. I can do it, but, you know, I don't want to show it, but I'm in a lot of pain when I'm playing. Jeez. So it's like when I said when the camera's off, it's like ow, like that really hurt. But yeah. So I'm gonna end this now with thanks for watching. I'm sure this is probably an hour easily. Once I get on talking about something, I guess I just don't shut up. It's just something that I have to live with every day in my life, and I'm constantly reminded of it. So it's just like a really bad dream, you know. On top of the fucked up life I had growing up, you know, as a kid, and that happening to me, you know. Well, someday, you know, it'll. Obviously, I've accepted it and everything that, you know, it's you know, up to this point in my life, I've accepted the effects and everything, but I just wish that it never would have happened to me. Things would be a lot different, but I can't do much about it. So anyhow, I guess I'll end this. But if you watched all this, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody who watches my videos, who takes the time to comment, or, you know, I reply to every good comment I get. I don't ignore anybody unless it's hate. I just block and delete, don't even reply. You know, except for the guy who told me to hang myself. You know, the day Chester Bennington hung himself, a guy told me to do the same thing from watching one of my guitar tutorials. Some people, they can be so cruel, you know. You know, they don't know who I am, they don't know the mental illness that I deal with since I was a kid. It's been a fucked up life, I guess. So anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.